Hi, Steve Sweeney here from Headwaters for Heroes, coming to you from our podcast series that we're having during our 10th annual Combat Wounded and Gold Star Families Benefit, being held in Harper, Texas. Right now we're sitting here at the station on 290 with some friends of mine. We've got Guillermo, TJ Tejada over here. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I've got Matt Deathrage to my left. Matt, let everybody know. And we have Steve Land to the far left. All three of these guys served in Afghanistan, and all three of them received their Purple Hearts for their service in Afghanistan. So all three of them got wounded. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. We want to have fun. We want to hear some stories. But first, we're going to talk. I'm going to talk to Matt first. Matt, you're the golden child.
Suppose so.
Matt was the very first veteran we ever took out, got involved with, and it's what led to everything that's going on.
That's right.
And then Steve Land, we ran across you.
I don't even know. Probably on the side of the road.
Sounds about right.
And then we got involved with TJ, and everybody's got a unique story that's coming to Headwaters for Heroes. And TJ and Steve both have been featured in Headwaters for Heroes Outdoors, the TV show. Matt's got one coming up. We have not filmed it yet, but it is in the works. So, Matt, tell me a little bit. I want to know about your service, what you did.
And
Sure.
how'd you get started in porn?
Well, that's a funny story.
The tripod story?
Yeah, that's right. About the service, so I joined the Army in 2010 and went to infantry school, airborne school, and then pretty much it was the height of the war in 2010. It was a troop surge. And so they immediately, I got to my unit and said, hey, you're deploying right now. Get on the plane, let's go. So immediately there, went to Afghanistan, and then started into combat operations with the unit.
Steve.
I was kicked around in the Army a little bit. Was in Hawaii with 25th ID, and then went to Korea for a year on vacation. It was pretty cool. Got to Germany, and then we had a deployment rotation out to Afghanistan, and a couple months short of coming home, got schwacked by an ID, and then was just hospital time after that. Hospital time, lots of bar time.
A little bit more hospital, a little bit more bars.
Yeah.
Sometimes one caused the other.
And then we have TJ, our token Marine.
No.
He's kind of pissed because there's no crayon. He's hungry.
I was promised some damn freaking crayons. What the
I'm sorry, I'll have to talk to
He likes the
production
green
crew.
ones.
Tell us your service.
Shoot, let me see. Grew up in LA. Don't hold that up against me, all right? So, joined the Marine Corps in 1999. Well, actually, turned 19 in boot camp. Did a whole bunch of years. Couple deployments. So, non-combat deployment first, then Iraq after that. Ended up going back to my same unit after recruiting duty. Once again, non-combat deployment, combat deployment. In 2010, we were deployed to Afghanistan. Made it out of Iraq just fine. But 2010, our unit deployed to Afghanistan, and immediately we started doing combat operations out there. And November 11th, 2010, while we were on a patrol, that day I found one, and I got blown up, lost both of my legs on impact, flatlined a couple of times, but at the end of the day, my Marines said that I left Afghanistan like this. I can't remember, so I mean it was a pretty shitty situation. Took a little bit longer to get me out of there. We got hit pretty hard right after the enemy, hears the explosion. They know what happens. So what they do, they start shooting. They go for us. So they did. My guys reacted just the way that we trained them, and they got me out of there. Unfortunately, we couldn't land the bird right there and then. So We took the long route home after.
You guys drove out?
Actually,
Yeah, they drove me a kilometer to where the helicopter could pick me up.
Uh-huh.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
When you're up in the mountains.
right there.
Were you guys up in the mountains? I was in the valleys.
No,
dude.
well, see,
Same
part of my
shit.
mission
If you're
that
at the
day
bottom
was-
of the valley, the rest
Wow.
of that shit looks like a fucking mountain.
my secondary mission that day was, as a platoon sergeant, I had nowhere to extract my guys.
Right.
So I was getting some pre-planned LZs. Lieutenant and I talked about it. I'm like, all right, sir, once we're done with this, primary mission, we're gonna go and I'm gonna take the squad that we were traveling with, and I'm gonna go plot some LZs. There's a tree line. I didn't make it past that tree line. As soon as we were on the other side of that tree line, we were supposed to, head north and head back home. Actually, about a kilometer, and that's where the ID was at.
Yeah.
And they started, getting on us, right there and then. So my plan was, I had just plotted an LZ.
Yeah.
And so I tell, the squad leader that was with us, I'm like, hey, once I, they tourniquet me up.
Cinch
I'm
it up
like,
tight.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, that LZ that, we
That's
just
where we're
plotted, land one right there, because I'm not going to make it,
Right.
all the way. And, hearing all the, what went on with all the explosions, I kind of knew that, as soon as I got blown up, I'm like, yep, they're gone, so, like I said, though, the dudes, they reacted just the way we trained them. Doc was on the spot, my guys were on the money with, putting everything together. But couldn't land the bird right there and then, and yeah, after that.
That's badass.
We had to get our react team to run out there. They had to run all the way out there. And by that time, we were already engaged. So I'm in the stretcher. My guys are whooping it on. And here comes, our reactionary force, reinforcing us. So they had to, drag me on a stretcher all the way back. I mean, we dropped some serious ordnance that day. There was dozens upon thousands of dollars, that were dropped down just to get little old me out of there that day. A10s, I love A10s. Oh my
Awesome.
gosh.
The buzz
Oh,
gun.
my
Fuck
God.
yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we had everything. X-Cows. I mean, we just tons and tons of money. But
We didn't have none of that shit.
I think it was worth it. At the end of the day, I think it was worth it.
I didn't have all that.
Dude.
Mine was a fucking shit show. Big time. So we got blown up and I got launched up onto the next level of this little winding road going up the hill. And my driver came and found me. I put my own tourniquet on. Almost shot him with my pistol. I couldn't see a lot. And then he was doing some shit. And another guy came over and was like, told him leave, and he didn't want to leave. You remember Brown, right?
Yeah.
Well, Brown, my friend, he's one of my best friends still. He beats the fuck out of this guy with a Kevlar just right there on the side of the hill. Beats the shit out of him. And in all that, I went into shock, woke up on the helicopter, freaked the fuck out, and then went back to sleep for a couple more months. We had some WWF right there. Almost shot my friend, and then we're hugging each other, and then yeah, it was pretty fucking wild. Good times.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, mine was like we were coming in, we were reacting. You guys know Casey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had gotten blown up like 8 hours before me. He was in like 2 a.m. He was out on a foot patrol on a kill team mission. They were going in to snoop this guy out and go capture him or kill him.
That worked out, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So he was a full moon out that night, and so he was like he was getting silhouetted by the moon. He's like, all right, hang on, let's take a short haul here real quick, figure out where
That's
we
a
need to
big
go.
fucking silhouette.
Exactly. So he
Captain
kneels down
Beer
right
Belly.
on top of the mine. Boom, blows his leg off. And so they get him all laced up. They casevac him out of there. Next morning, the command is curious. They want to go find out, do their CSI Miami stuff, dusting for fingerprints on the tape of the bomb and whatever
Man,
else.
I'm glad I wasn't in your unit.
It was ridiculous. But anyways, so they send us out, or they send 4th Platoon out to go snooping around in this valley, right? And snoop they did, and they found 2 more mines with their feet. again. So they, these Navy EOD guys who come out. One of them got blown in half. A bunch more injuries associated with that one. We come in to help relieve 4th Platoon because these guys were fresh cherry, right? And so they were kind of like having to secure this LZ, take care of casualties, defend the perimeter against enemy attack and all that. And they were kind of overwhelmed. So they call us in for QRF to help them out. And, I was a machine gunner at the time. And so, I'm stepping heavy. And that's when I found the 3rd one. Boom, blew it up right there. And then so they had already had the medevac birds on the way to pick up these 2 guys, right, or 3 guys. And so they just basically called up and said, "Hey, we got 2 more casualties. Load them up." So luckily the birds were already inbound when I got blown up, so it was pretty easy.
Add one more for that order.
Yeah.
And then there was the WTU, the what the fuck unit.
Yeah. Yep. And then straight
That
to WTU.
sucked.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mentioned that the WT unit early on before we really got rolling with Headwaters for Heroes, and how I went in there to talk to them about doing something,
Yeah.
and
Kind of got stonewalled, didn't you?
oh yeah, got stonewalled, and it was
It's like that sometimes when you want to take a piss in the WTU.
Yeah.
But it was like they had all these rules and regulations, and I'm while I believe that we have to have law and order, and I believe in rules,
No.
but there's sometimes, when I was starting out early with this, yeah, we have to have rules, but when they were telling me all the things that
Overkill.
I could not do if I wanted to take you guys out, that
Answer my phone calls now.
It's the diabetes shits.
but all these rules,
Stop drinking sodas.
That's what it needs.
all these rules that they
Yours is
had,
different than
it was like, wow, this is going to be a boring fucking trip. I mean, there was more don'ts than there was do's.
That's where most people learn how to say fuck the rules.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
Well, that's
in the
pretty much what I
if you don't
said.
in the WTU, you're sitting like this 24/7.
Yeah, you're not doing anything fun.
You're not gonna do nothing. So, I'm glad I'm retired now because I've already been in trouble with the WTU. You said fuck. you drank a beer. Yeah, dude. At the time, I was 26, 27 in the WTU. I already had squad leader time, a little bit of platoon sergeant time, and I got there and it's like basic training status. I'm not having that shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, my service record reflects that.
My 214 agrees with you.
Well, going back to Afghanistan, you made the comment, TJ, about how much money was spent getting you out of there, the ordnance, the firefight, all that went on. Overall, do you think that you always had the backup, the response was always there? Did you feel confident all the time that it was going to be there for you?
In Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, we had the money to spend. We did it.
Especially in that time frame.
Yeah.
Of like 2009 to
When were you hurt?
2011.
2010.
So y'all were both after me. I was in January of 09.
Oh really? Yeah, I was
So-
in March of 11.
We were like at the tip of the spear on the whole
surge.
on the surge, and it was awesome. Like some fucked up shit happened. I don't have feet anymore, but
We had resources, man.
we got
for
to
real.
fuck shit up.
Yeah,
And
we had
I'm-
130s covering us and A10s and all this stuff, man. It was sweet.
Well, how about you were in Iraq? What was the differences you saw?
Oh man, it was.
We didn't
it was
have
night and day.
resources like that in Iraq.
It was night and day, and it all depends on when you were there, So, in 2003, when we were doing the push, it was completely just unconventional, meaning that we weren't established there. We weren't established there. We were basically the invading force. So we had a.
Y'all had an ROE that was like that.
That was one of the good things at first. At first, the ROEs were pretty
Yeah.
on point, and they were on our side. But quickly that changed, and that's another story. Which I actually.
Y'all ran out of crayons, got cranked for everybody.
No, we the ROEs got kind of timed up a little bit, mid deployment, and I actually think that it costed one of our dudes, like two of our guys' life, just because that day, day before we started operating in Baghdad. They're like, hey, we can no longer just shoot anybody we see with a freaking gun.
Yeah.
We kind of gotta get PID, and everybody out here has a gun to defend themselves. Well, rightfully so, right? I mean, it's
Hide when you
kinda
see
like
me
freaking
one of those,
Iraq,
yeah.
Go home when you see me coming.
Exactly. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, everybody has a gun, but there's a difference, with some people shouldn't have a gun, and we train for that shit. We train how to identify you and be like, this is out of place.
Yeah.
But one night in Baghdad, we're freaking patrolling.
It sounds like a song.
And yeah, this
One night,
man, and had the old rules of engagement. The minute we saw any weapons, we would have been able to just freaking opened up, and perhaps those two dudes would have still been here. But instead we had to kind of go with the rules of engagement. We couldn't just open up as soon as we saw guns. So I called it over the radio, and I'm like, hey, across the street, and it was kind of dark. I mean, we pretty much blackened out all of Iraq when we got there. It was we took out a lot of their capabilities, so it was pretty dark. And through my NVGs, I see dude across the street in the compound, with a damn AK. But ahead of us, our squad that was up front, they had already seen some other dudes too. So already we could have lit them up, but we couldn't because
of the rules.
So they changed that day.
The rules of engagement are a bitch, man.
Yeah.
You got young soldiers that are more afraid of the ROE than they are
of getting shot.
of getting schwacked.
Yeah.
And not even just it's counterproductive most of the
So
time.
it was different. It was way different.
Especially
And depending on when you were there.
Yeah. Afghanistan was like that depending on when you were there.
Afghanistan, and I mean it's a different fighter too.
it all depends on your platoon leader and your commander, honestly. ROE or not. Like if you got a Hodge loving commander, that dude's gonna have to empty a couple of magazines before you can handle that business.
Yeah, every situation is gonna be a little bit different, and shit was different.
How do you feel about them dudes now? Like now after Syria, there's a lot of them here.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that shit? I don't like it.
Oh man, you know what? We had some good, we had some good freaking Hajis out there. There were, some of the Terps that they seriously they loved us, and they lay their freaking lives for us.
We had a couple really good Turks.
But then
too.
again, there's some other ones that they're pieces of shit. I wouldn't freaking trust them.
I don't trust any of them. I mean, like religiously, if you aren't a Muslim, you're an infidel.
Yeah.
And in their scripture, it says like you can murder an infidel and you're fine. Fuck them.
Well, you've heard stories of some of the interpreters that they were
They
playing
play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and
That did happen all the time.
And
Well, we had dudes, that got shot up, by some of our supposedly counterparts. They were
Afghan
supposed to be out
soldiers
there.
were, yeah.
You're the
working
A&A
with us.
dudes?
Yeah, so we had some NAs that, they were relieving, they were getting relieved by some of our dudes in our sister company. And as soon as those freaking bastards got relieved, they came down off the freaking, the watch post, and they turned their freaking guns up to our dudes, that were there. They killed them. They freaking murdered them right there on the spot. So I see where you.
I don't trust. I don't trust them, and I don't.
I mean, but then again, I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, that's what I was about to get at. Like, I don't trust many people, but like, I really don't care how politically correct or incorrect this is. If you came here and because you lived in a shitty fucking place, don't come here and make this place just as fucking shitty.
amen.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah.
I agree.
My bad. Sorry, but I'm not.
Tell us how you really feel. Gee.
But you know, that's what we face in our country right now is, you know, everybody wants to come to the United States for that fucking handout, and then they turn it into a hell. They want to turn it into a hellhole just like the rest of the world. And you know, I'm a firm believer that they brought the fight to us, but I'm a firm believer that taken the fight to them. I'd rather. I know this sounds bad. I'd rather have the fight there than.
Yeah, me too. I would, man.
We want to see a war.
Almost every single one of us feels that same way.
Oh yeah.
If I could click my heels together and be somewhere back again, I would go right back.
100%.
In Afghanistan.
100%.
Like I miss that place because you know, I miss that kill people. Not necessarily kill people, but like there's no gray area. There's a lot of gray area in America. Like they talk about all these freedoms and shit. There's a lot of people that are gonna hate me for the shit I'm saying right now.
Fuck.
Exactly. I don't even have to say it, but with that being said, like, there's no gray there. If you got a problem with somebody and if they got a problem with you, you're supposed to be diplomatic, but no, man, there's guns and bullets and bombs involved. Fuck diplomacy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I'm coming home.
Well, that's just kind of the way that they operate over there in Afghanistan, anyways.
Yeah,
That's the way that they handle their
they're gonna
problems.
hammer you. Like it's fight first, talk next.
Yeah.
Whoever's left, then we'll do some talking after that. And I respect them, man. Like those are some hard ass dudes, and they didn't have nothing. They didn't have MREs. They're hauling ass up and down mountains
In pajamas and stuff.
Yeah, in pajamas and flip flops.
Yeah.
Allah Akbar, getting shot right in the face. Like, man, I'm not that hard.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that was one of the other differences, like I was saying earlier, with the Iraqis and the Afghans. I mean, the Iraqis, a lot of them.
They're gonna shoot at you over a wall.
Yeah.
Do the hanging
I mean, when we
spray.
showed up, when we were, crossing the Ramallah oil fields, from Kuwait into friggin' Iraq, the first day, I mean, it was pretty friggin' hilarious. So we're coming up, and I mean, we hadn't slept all night, because we supposed to cross the LOD, the friggin' line of departure, and at night, we haven't slept all night basically, and in the morning, early in the morning, we get off of our AAVs and we're patrolling over this berm, and right on the other side of this berm, when we got tanks attached to us, but right on the other side of this berm we're patrolling up, and we know that we got friendlies on the other side, but I didn't expect to see the funniest shit in the world. I see an Abram with the main gun on like 60 Iraqis, and they're all like this, crouched down. They had just given up, and I'm like, I just wanted to laugh. I'm like, that's just fucking hilarious.
I mean, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart. Like, no,
That's it.
They're all crouched down like this.
I'm
man.
done.
That shit was
Send me to
funny.
Guantanamo
You
Bay.
win.
Yeah. Don't blame them. You got
I'll
an
go to
Abram, a
Cuba,
main
fuck
gun.
Iraq.
Yeah, but their will to fight wasn't there. The Iraqis, the majority of them, not all of them, but especially you got the ones that were deprived. You have freaking Saddam. He had his special units that were always taken care of. Now those guys, the ones that the special units for Saddam. I mean, they put up a good fight.
And you know what's fucking wild about them dudes? A lot of those guys, whenever this all started happening, they left and they went to Iran. They worked for the Iranian government now.
Yeah.
And a lot of their war fighters that were worth the shit
Went to Iran.
hauled ass.
Yeah. It does suck to say that fucking Afghans, they had a little bit more heart.
They had a
fought
lot. They
fought a lot.
And they've shown that over the centuries.
what it is,
but
man.
they won. They
definitely-
fucking won.
They played the long game.
we
man.
lost-
They
we
played
lost
chess,
that
not
war.
checkers.
Fucking help with this.
But
Yeah.
you don't win a race if you leave your shit in second gear the whole time.
Yeah.
That's
The
right.
ROE kept us like we're like a Corvette, but you can only go so fast that they won't let you shift past second.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's been like that for longer than any of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been that way since long before us.
Yeah.
I mean, Vietnam was a perfect case of where
Yeah.
when the government started
No,
dictating,
we can't go
well,
into Cambodia.
you can't do this, you can't do this. So the body count, okay, stop, back up, let them reclaim the land,
Yeah.
and now let's push them back till we have a certain body count, and then we got to give it back.
Political bullshit.
It's
We would have had more
political
support if they would have had a body count. Like if they would have showed like a legit scoreboard instead of just how many U.S. troops we lost. If they would have said like we lost this many, but we took this many, and the news never did that.
No, they
No,
didn't.
they didn't.
The news was anti-conflict the whole time, whether it was justified or not. Hey, it was in my youth. I had a job. I did my job, and I enjoyed doing my job. So
I had a lot of fun in the Army, man, for real.
yeah, well, most of the fun though was like after the uniform came off and it was jeans and sweatshirt time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like your vacation in Korea is what you're saying.
Dude, that place was wild. Midgets and soju.
Hey, non-combat deployment is one of the shit. Yeah. I mean, we're out there and it was,
You got Area 1 bonuses, and it's like, what's this bonus for? You might get shot. I was like, what's the probability? Not very high. Fuck it, give me my bonus.
Oh man, yeah, good times, good times. Oh, Southeast Asia, man,
That's a great place to be.
it is. I mean, we did a lot of great training with a lot of the.
I don't remember any of it. I remember the training because we did training with soju. We were like, you got to be able to do this shit drunk if they come across the border.
Yeah. No, that was good times. Good times.
And he talks about vehicles and shit, and I'm like, man, that's fucking bullshit. All we did was walk. Everywhere. Like
He was talking about
the
AAVs.
handfuls of times I got on vehicles, somebody got blown up.
Yeah. So you were infantry, right?
Yeah.
You guys mech?
He was on vehicles.
That's what I'm saying. But
Well, yeah, in Iraq,
we were riding light, you know. We were
in
riding
Iraq,
around
yeah,
trucks.
we were mechanized.
Okay.
Yeah, we went in mechanized.
Yeah. See, so there.
We're all fucking mechanized now.
Hell yeah, look at me now, shit.
I used to say I was black from the waist down, but now I'm just like, nah, I'm just robot from the waist down. Hey, here's my disclaimer. Steve was like, we got to make it interesting. Say whatever you want. I'm going to take advantage.
Interesting it is.
What would you change about it, guys?
Nothing.
About like what our
I
experience.
wouldn't. Okay, if I could pick one small thing, I wouldn't got blown up. I'd still have my.
I would have zigged instead of zagged.
Yeah, that's about the only
exactly.
thing.
Like that one time, I would have not fucked
I
up.
would have not stepped there. But other than that, like, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, I'll do it all over again. Yeah.
I still think.
Except for the bomb.
I still think. I think I even would have got out at the same time. I thought I wanted to do 20 years, and then 2011, 2012 rolled around.
Oh,
I retired in
Yeah.
2012. Whenever I couldn't have, it was just in time. I would have fucking. I was like that close to throat punching anybody that came within arm's reach. It was awesome.
Yeah, time to go. Yeah.
Well, you know, I hear people talk, and we try to believe it's patriotism and accept it that way. But you know, a lot of guys that have been in your shoes, or lack of now.
Yeah, I was in my shoes one time too. And I got blown right out the bitches.
But you know, we talk about it's easy for people to say, well, send me and I'll go. I mean, in your situation today, if it called upon you, would you?
I can't even think about it like that because it's improbable, man. The United States is never gonna need a no-legged fucking has-been. There's
Hypothetically speaking,
let's just say
there's plenty of youth to do the same stupid shit that we did
Yeah,
back
but if
then.
you had legs, is what he's saying. Like if you were
If I still had legs, I'd be a sergeant major.
yeah, sure. Well,
I'd be first sergeant or sergeant major. I wouldn't be doing the same job that I did in 2008, 2009.
10
when I
years
hurt.
ago.
So it'd be different, you know. But like, no, I go back as an amputee. Like, hey, might sound good, but you can't override that willingness for other people to want to constantly help you, and that makes you a liability.
yeah.
you know, yes or no. I got some buddies that were all type of different units, that went out there, got blown up, and yes, their injuries weren't as severe as ours. You know, I mean, I'm all the way up to the hip on this side, and and at the same time, we need motherfuckers like that are not as jacked up. Both of the ones that are off the top of my head right now, they're below the knee. So I call them paper cuts. Paper cuts.
Look at this guy.
But they were able to go out there and in their capacity, we need guys that are operating at that level.
And I think you're right, man, and especially because I think the Army, maybe the Marines too, I don't know, but they're having like a hard time retaining anybody with combat experience and who knows what's going on.
The standards changed. The standards changed. The standards of how you got to treat soldiers has changed. Yeah, I mean, you can be a fucking tranny in the military. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. If you can't figure out that penis means you're a fucking dude, you don't need to be in the military. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, the military shouldn't be concerned with that kind of thing. That's not what the military is for.
Yeah, you should. If you're a boy, you go in the boy line.
See,
if you're a girl, you go in the girl line.
We operated so many freaking years, for decades, centuries, with having homos and in the military, and it was all good. I mean,
the don't ask, don't tell worked.
But the minute that that we got freaking jackasses at the highest freaking level, saying that that's one of the most detrimental things to the unit right now, making sure that freaking
that so-and-so is recognized for being a homosexual.
We call it a freaking them and so whatever.
Yeah.
The minute that we got freaking idiots at chief of staff level saying that, that's it. I mean, you caused so much damage to the whole institution that it's not even funny.
If that's your message, then the initiative to win that fucking war is gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
If that's what you got to deal with, that's what's on your plate, the initiative to win the war is gone.
Yeah, I mean,
we're trying to appease popular culture at that point.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not win a freaking war.
Right.
Yeah, because we freaking had homos, gays, whatever you want to call them, in the military.
We haven't won a
They
war.
were, right next to us. I didn't have any freaking issues, Some of them, were, just blatantly flamboyant, and
you were in the Marines.
And then
you work with the Navy.
There's that. Then there's that. But no, it worked for so many freaking years, And then you got freaking dumbasses come and try to freaking
Mess it all up.
It's crazy.
Well, I think it's crazy that now you can join the Army or any military service, and then the taxpayer will pay for your sex change in the military. That's
all in the Army. It's not happening.
I mean,
they got the biggest budget.
We take everybody. If it wasn't for the Army, I would have never gotten in the military.
You also hear about, and I'm not trying to make this about the different sexes, but you've heard the pros and cons about women being in combat.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I
bet you. I know why
No,
you think it's
no. I'll tell you, whenever I went to PLDC, we had an E6. Shouldn't have even been in PLDC. I was a specialist. And until we got to the field, she wanted to, put me on blast and pull rank. And then the bitch couldn't even put her fucking rucksack on when we went to the field. She's like, can you help me? No, you're a soldier too. Ruck up. Let's go. I think it's cool. If you're a woman and you can do it and you want to,
Have at it.
But don't be detrimental to the mission.
Well, I think that goes whether it's male or female.
Right.
As long as you're not detrimental.
If you're not detrimental to the mission, cool. Know your fucking role.
Yeah.
And that's everybody, not just women. Know your role. But the Army's changed. The Marine Corps has changed.
See, it's bullshit when you try to adjust for it.
For what's popular.
For the lack
in
of
culture.
performance.
Right.
When you're trying to change it to where just because you wanted to be
Don't change the
political
standard.
popular to have females in the infantry, and now you're hurting the unit by lowering the standards, that's what I'm not cool with.
Well, and it's the kind of the flavor of the month type of thing. First now it's homosexuals, and then next month it's transsexuals or whatever the case may be. what's going to be the next,
Amputees.
Maybe. One can only hope.
All right, if you're already missing gear, come on, we'll take you. It'll be amputees next.
Yeah.
Dude, I wouldn't.
But at some point, if the people are not volunteering, and I don't know if the numbers are down of the number
I
of
think
people.
they are.
You'll never have it. You'll always have kids like us that are gonna do it
Do it
regardless.
either way, yeah.
And even if there's less, I think that's better. I liked it better when there was higher standards to get in rather than whenever they did the surge and
That's
they
what I'm
let
saying.
anybody
Yeah.
in. Like
Don't lower the standards.
we had quality troops coming out of basic training, and then when they lowered the standard just to put numbers on the
A
board,
bunch of dirtbags flew.
yeah.
lined
And
it
so like, okay, you don't have as many people volunteering. That's cool. That means that the ones that are volunteering have to be there or want to be there. It's not. Well, I mean, we're not at a war.
That's an
in a
interesting
war right
concept.
now. Huh?
I never thought about that.
I mean, you get a whole bunch of people. You got, I don't know what the numbers are. You get like 10 people, you might get 3 shit bags. But if you only got 3 people or 7 people coming, you're only going to get 1 or 2 shit bags.
So do you think basic training's gotten easier now?
Probably. I ain't been there
Probably.
in a long
Yeah,
time.
it's been a long time, but that's what I hear anyways.
But people told us too when I was coming in. Oh, we were so
It was way worse
like
when I was
everybody.
in.
The generation before you was always harder than you are.
Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say earlier too, what we were talking about is like, but we haven't won a war since, like,
Since before you were even a thought in your dad's
since like
fucking
World War II. Like we like Korea, Vietnam, all that stuff. Like we haven't.
We
won a
won
war.
Korea, bro.
Man.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
We still got we'll get on in a little history lesson. Where you fly into in Korea, it's way down south in Incheon. And then you could make your way up to Area 1, you're right there on the border of North Korea, and you cover some miles. That's a win, bro. Like if
For sure.
that's a win.
Better than none at all.
There's
that's
no North Korean, like if they're trying to sneak over, they're trying to sneak over to get a better life. Right?
Of course.
So we won that war. We won Korea. We're still there.
We're
Look
still
at
there, that's
Afghanistan.
true.
They're
Yeah.
running around like, hey, they might have your M4 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, okay, let's talk about, we watched the exit of Vietnam, and we all see, in my day, and I'm a little older than you guys,
it's all commander
you
in
know,
chief, man.
you saw where
go
they were
random.
airlifting, helicopters were pulling people off the top of the embassy. Now let's fast forward to Afghanistan. We saw the pictures of how that was done, and we lost lives over there. I mean, did anybody ever come and ask the soldier, hey, do y'all
No,
want,
they
y'all
don't.
ready? They made the decision to pull out, and in my mind, and I'm a civilian, I wasn't there, I didn't have to fight, but to me, it was disgraceful the way Afghanistan was handled.
But when you're a service member, you don't fucking have an opinion. You get orders and you execute your mission. If your mission is, hey, get what you can grab, get on the airplane, we're getting the fuck out of here. That's what
what it
you're
is.
doing. There's not a, well, damn, man, I feel more righteous being here and finishing this out. You waive those rights whenever you raise your hand and do your damn thing.
That's understood.
Yeah,
but as a
at the end of
service
the-
Do I
member-
like the way
at
it
end of the day,
ended?
was
No,
freaking
I wish we.
disgusting.
Yeah, as
I
a
was-
service member that you guys put your life on the line, you lost a lot there. So, really, how do you feel about the way our government pulled that off?
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It sucks. I'll tell you this though, like a lot of people got bent out of shape about it, and I don't get that shit, man. Because how many times while you were in the service did some shit happen and the government just completely fuck your plans up? How many times that happened? More times than you can count, probably. Hey, we're going to the field. This is my daughter's birthday. Tell her happy birthday. Send her a fucking card. Let's go. How many times the government fuck your plans up?
Well, and I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're
But
saying.
it's a little bit different when it comes to the spectrum. When you look at how it went down and at the level that it went down.
When we started all that, we had different leadership.
Exactly.
The leadership that they had whenever the shit show of a pullout. I mean, I guess it is a pretty good pull out because they pulled out before we were finished. But so good job on that one, Brandon. But other than that, like, yeah,
There's a first for everything, right?
like, it sucks, but what can you do about it? It ain't even worth being mad about. The sun's gonna fucking come up tomorrow, whether we're in Afghanistan or not. They got some new toys to play with. Let them kill each other. They were doing that before we got there.
That's true.
That is true.
That's just been a long history of blood.
We're the most recent in a long line of losers that thought we were gonna go over there and fuck that place up. We did a good job,
We definitely did a good job. Didn't finish it though.
but you know, you can't kill an idea. We weren't fighting politics. We weren't fighting invaders. We were fighting jihadists, and they don't want us there. I don't blame them. They live different lives, like completely different.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I somewhat agree. You know that. Well, it's just the way that it went down. You know that's what irks.
It does suck. It irks me a little bit too.
The way that it shouldn't have happened that way. Hey, I'm the last person that would want us there.
Forever.
I mean, you know, forever. Yeah, trust me. I don't want any of our, you know, future generations, you know, to be there. But the way that it went down, I mean, it was just horrendous. You know, and to top it off, you know, the Marines, you know, and the you know, Army, you know, cat that we lost in the, you know, Navy, you know, on. Literally, you know, on our way out, that they should have never freaking happened that
We'll have
way.
to go down the rabbit hole on this one, because how do you change it? You can't really change it.
Everybody's like, oh, you can vote in the next election. Your vote don't count. Like when Donald Trump got elected, the Democrats screamed, oh, our votes didn't count. When Biden got elected, the Republicans, oh, our votes didn't count. Like, the problem is the people that are not available, but they can actually afford to run to be the president. They don't have any concept of what being an American is. They don't. Like, they live completely different lifestyles all the way up until they're the president than any of us ever will. They don't understand what we're doing, and you know, we're like employees to them. They don't give a shit.
There's a disconnect. There's no
a
doubt.
huge disconnect.
There's a disconnect.
We don't like we've been on this whole thing for as long as I can remember. Like, oh, I'm gonna vote for the lesser of the two evils. I think it's bullshit that we have two pieces of shit to choose from every time. Like, we don't ever have a good fucking candidate. We had Hillary and Trump. Okay, Trump was good for a lot of people's pockets. That dude was shitty for our country. Like, as far as how we treat each other as Americans.
Hold on. I'm gonna push back on that because that happened way before Trump. Now, don't get me wrong. Freaking Trump, a lot of the shit that he said,
you gotta have some candor.
Made me freaking cringe.
You gotta have exactly. There you go. And that's all. You gotta have some candor. You're the leader of the most.
What pisses me off is when people try to say, you know, and I'm not gonna freaking be, you know, Captain Save a Ho for freaking Trump. You know, he's a big man. He could take care of himself.
He ain't big. You seen his hands?
But our freaking problem with the way that we treat each other happened before his ass. You know, all this freaking, you know, racial disputes happened, you know, before his ass, and you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
I do. But if you don't, as a leader of this country, if you don't say, if you throw fuel on that fire, that's when you lost me, man. I don't. If I had a Twitter, man, it'd all be mean tweets. But I'm not the president. I'm not the president. I'd be telling them all how fat and ugly they are. But I'm not the president. You're the president. Deal with your job.
Presidential stuff.
Yes. Do that. Do it with some candor.
I agree with you. Yeah. You're absolutely right on that. But TJ is right. A lot of the differences in this country are long before Trump got here. It did become fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
And I don't want to try to get religious on this, but I do believe that we're pushing back to the right. I believe that there's a real large population that said this is bullshit what we're doing, but I don't know, and I would hope that one day when it comes to wars, you know, and I know what you said, Steve, your opinions don't count when you're in the military, but by God, either let our boys do what they're trained to do, and that's kill and break shit, or we don't go.
Yep.
Period. We're you know, what was that? Was it in Iraq when it went over their hearts and minds?
Yeah.
I mean,
Man, that's one of those things too. Like you would hear that on the news, but the fucking command would be telling you like, yeah, that means shoot them in the fucking heart or in the brain. So it was preached a lot differently to us. Make it only cost one bullet was the sentiment that I got from that.
yeah, but see, on our side, we're sitting here listening to the media, and we see a totally different story.
Do you see what's going on in Ukraine right now?
Yeah.
The media it's great. I say it sarcastically. But if you don't like what one media has to say or show you, you just have to flip the channel and you'll see what you want to see.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, you're gonna get you're depending on what puppet master you want to go watch, you can watch it. Nobody's really getting the news anymore. You're getting somebody's opinion.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's no news. There's not the news out there it used to be, where you could tune in and find out what's going on in the world, and you form your own opinion of, is that good, bad, or indifferent. Now here's my opinion and what I want you to hear, and that's not just one side of it. It's both sides are doing it.
Right, exactly.
Both sides are doing it,
And the in between.
I don't care if you're CNN or you're Fox News, because those are kind of the extremes, I guess. They're all doing it. It's all opinion discussion now. It's not news.
It's like, guy, tell me what happened, where it happened, when it happened, and leave out the part about what you think I should fucking feel about
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's all the news needs to be, but and that's you got news, but these things you got all kinds of bullshit news at your fingertips, and.
But I mean, if you got two brain cells that rub together, man, you'll be able to find and decipher shit. You know what's really going out there.
It
all
depends on your social circle too.
Yeah.
But it comes down to personal responsibility too. I mean, are you gonna be force fed the bullshit that people want you to hear, or are you gonna take some responsibility for yourself and actually find out what's going on? You have the power in your hand to find out facts. I mean, if you're a freaking idiot. And
there's a lot of them in America. There's a lot of them in the world.
You want to just absorb, what your circle is feeding you, and you want to, basically live your life based on that. Then you are.
But we all do that. Like we all pretty much feel the same way. We are the same circle that feeds each other. Like we do the same thing. Like we may be right, we may be wrong.
And having said that, guys,
What makes you happy?
I want to thank y'all for being here today. I think as people watch and listen to this, they get an insight to what was dealt with over there. And it's not what the media says. It's you guys have opened up and said a lot. I've got to call a close to it. We'll do it again because this was pretty fun. You guys are willing to come back.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And this is something Headwaters for Heroes is really trying to do. I mean, and I appreciate y'all's openness and honesty and candor about it. Y'all suffered a lot. You really have. And it's not easy to come out here and talk about all those things.
It's gonna be a lot better tomorrow when I ride off on that motorcycle behind you, so it's all good.
Yeah.
There you go. And, all things, there's good things that come out of it. I truly believe that, having gotten to meet every one of y'all. Y'all have changed my life. Y'all really have.
Sorry about that.
I didn't say good or bad. I just said changed my life. But no, it's been positive. I get to talk to you guys on a regular basis. We get to have fun and we get to do things, and it's really been good. And I appreciate you guys coming out. It's not all bad. Shit, you had another baby after you got back, so we know something didn't get blown up.
That's pretty much all I've done since I came.
Yeah, I bet that's right. So,
Not every day you can meet
ladies and
somebody
gentlemen,
who's
I want to thank y'all for tuning in and watching this. We're going to continue doing this. I hope you enjoy it. Let us know. Go to www.headwatersforheroes.com. Check our Facebook page out. Go check out Headwaters for Heroes Outdoors on Pursuit Channel and Americanic TV. You'll see Steve Land there. You'll see TJ, and then Matt's coming up in season 2.
He just can't hit anything on camera. He kind of sucks at shooting. They filmed a bunch, but he sucks at shooting.
Thank y'all for listening in.